All right, so I want to do a shipping container market update. House supply, how are prices? Really, prices are a function of supply and demand, obviously. But with containers, I think demand's fairly consistent. It's seasonal. So really price is kind of a function of supply or shipping rates and or tariffs, which is supply. So I'll start with the used 20s. Used 20s have been a bad value for a very long time. The only thing that helps used 20s is they're the cheapest container. Other than that, there's no real benefit to used 20s. And like I said, the value is the worst on used 20s. When I started selling shipping containers, man, we're going on 5 years now, 4 or 5 years ago, used 20s were half the price of new 20s. Now, used 20s are 60% the price of a new 20. You just buy new. So our sales have flipped from 70% used, 30% new to 70% new, 30% used. And prices dropped post-COVID on used containers, new containers, everything. The only thing, so they all dropped, but new containers have dropped percentage-wise the most. We're back to completely normal pricing on all new containers, if not the best pricing ever since I've been in this industry. Used 20s have kind of plateaued right at where they're at. So used wind and watertight 20 foot in my Midwest zone, I'd say Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, that Midwest area. When you get close to the ports, everything's cheaper. Houston's very cheap. 21 to 21 for bottom of the barrel wind and watertight. I don't really sell wind and watertight. So 2100 for like wind and watertight, 2200. Cargo worthy 23, 2400, 25 to 2600 for like nice cargo worthy IICL. I'll go through new 20s next. If I see a new 20 at 3500, which is about where we're at, I want to see used 20s at 1700. That's a value. At 2400, I do not see the value in a used 20 unless you just absolutely are on a strict budget or you just don't care. If I'm going to invest $2,400 in a container, I'm going to invest $1,100 more and buy a brand new 20. A lockbox, polyurethane floor, more vents, cooler, looks better. The number one factor is an easy open handle, and I'll show the easy open handles to you. So I don't see the value. So that's where we're at on used 20s. They're the only container that's not, quote, back to pre-COVID pricing. These should be $1,700 to $1,800 all day, and they are not. Here's an average used 20, cargo worthy. I know the inside looks blotchy and kind of crappy, but there's nothing wrong with it. They've just been slapping paint on, maintaining it. It's actually a good thing. The floor is just average. The outside, for cargo worthy, that's above average. Here's a very nice, this is one of the nicer used 20s I've had for a while. Outside's very nice. Inside's very nice too. So look at that floor. It's all solid, no patches. I just don't see that many nice used 20s anymore either. I mean, I'll order 10 and it's like 1 out of the 10 is decent, but not even this good. I mean, I just don't get nice used 20s like this anymore. So this container, this is 2,600 on my lot, maybe 25. That one's 23. This OOCL, yes, the light paint always looks worse. It shows everything, but it's not necessarily worse. This is actually a pretty good container. The floor is the first thing I always look at in used containers. If the floor is good, then generally it's a good container. This one's 2,400. So I'm taking that container all day for $100 to $200 more. Price wise, I generally pay more for better containers or less for worse containers, but if I pay the same for a batch of containers and some are nicer, I price them higher. The ones that aren't as good, I price lower, and so on. All right. This one's just average cargo worthy. Wind and watertight would just be substantially worse than any of these. and they're just a liability. I just don't even fool with them. I can order an as-is container, might have a pinhole or something in it, we'll patch it, but I generally never order wind and watertight. I just never see the value. There's a China shipping, and then different companies maintain their containers better. This one's got a humongous Depot patch on it. The Depot never does that good a job. I mean, they got rookie welders. I don't know what they're doing. Inside's not terrible. So that's where used 20s are. Let's go over to the new 20s. New 20s, 34 to 36 in my market. Open side, they're all over the place. 1 week open side will be 5,900. The next week they'll be 6,900. There's just not that many of them. So just depending on when you buy them. I bought a bunch of open side during fireworks season, and I'll get burned on a couple of them that I bought. I just paid too much. We were leasing them out. So that container right now, I need like $6,500 for that full open side. And open side are the most commonly scammed containers. Easy open new 20s. I really don't buy 4-handle containers anymore. That's a 4-handle, and the reason that's 4-handle is because it's a double door high cube 20, which is super oddball, super uncommon. That's like a $6,000 container, $5,500, something like that. But I'll just stick with the standard height new 20, so $1,100 more than that stuff. You get the lockbox, you get the easy open handle. The easy open handle is, I mean, the number one thing. Just put an easy open handle on it. If you're buying new, that's the thing. If you buy a new container from a broker online, it may not be easy open handle. You don't know. I mean, you can specify, but I don't even think they know. So the cheapest price doesn't always necessarily get you the best container. They might send you a lease spec, which doesn't even have a lockbox on it. It might be blue, it might be red. So if you're buying a new container, just get easy open. There's no other option. So I pay more for the easy open handle containers. I guess I could buy the 4-handle and have them sitting here. I just really don't mess with them anymore. The reason that's 4-handle is just because it's so uncommon. Double door high cube 20 is just, I mean, you never see them. I've got a couple of them here. High cube 20s, for that matter, are uncommon. So yeah, new 20s, about as cheap as they've ever been, and you get the polyurethane coated floor, you get more vents the better. This ivory color is the most popular by far. I like ivory. Slate gray is my favorite color. That's a slate gray open side. That's like a $6,500 container. If you see an open side on Marketplace for $3,500, it's a scam. $4,500, it's a scam. Maybe $5,000 if you're closer to a port like Houston, it's not a scam. But the scammers love to post open side containers. And the other thing is, like, you can't get a double door. That's a full open side. So a full open side, the whole side opens up. A 2-door open side is 2 8-foot doors. The other thing is, you cannot get a double door container. You cannot get an open side container in use. They do not exist. So all the scammers post like use double door container. It's a scam. It does not exist. They don't use anything except single door containers for shipping purposes from here to China. They don't use double door containers only exist for us, the storage market. All right, let's bounce over to used 40s. Used 40s are better value than used 20s. Used 40 is $1,500 less than a new 40. 1,300 in some cases. And then standard height 40s kind of went away. They're all pretty much, they're all high cube now. I can get a standard height, I just never get them because no one really wants them or cares, and they're not any cheaper. So let me go to this Beacon 40-foot high cube. This is a nice one. Not a lot of patches, dents, or anything like that. The roof's not super straight, but the floor's really nice. I know it has scratches in it, but that's a really nice floor. That's a $3,500 container. Here's an average cargo worthy. It's got floor patches, pretty straight, just 10 times better than wind and watertight. That's a $3,300 container right in there. Same thing, 33. Oh, here's an IICL. So I've been getting a bunch of these 2 to 3 to 5 trippers. So they just stayed out doing cargo for like a year or 2 or 3. So it's like a new container, but it's just been used a little bit. So it's a used container, but just not far off new. So this one's like a $4,000 container for me. So $900 cheaper than new. Polyurethane floor. It's got a lock box. A lot of these IICLs do not have easy open handles. So basically you can get a really nice kind of new container for $700 less than new. That's a good deal. Here's about the worst container I'll have. You know, dents and stuff on the side, and I'll sell it. It's fine. It's cheaper. Still 10 times better than wind and watertight. That's just kind of a rough cargo worthy is what I would call that. That'd be on the lower 30% of like cargo worthy. But still, if it was wind and watertight, it would have patches everywhere. Floor would be soft. That's why I just don't really mess with them. All right, here's a very nice, like 3 or 4 tripper IICL. So your conditions are as is, wind and watertight from worst to best, as is, wind and watertight, cargo worthy, IICL, new, which new are all technically IICL. You can look that term up. It's like International something Container Lessors Association of Inspection. It's like the highest grade you can get. So this is a 2 or 3 or 5 tripper. It almost looks new. This one was like $4,300, so $500-600 less than new, but it's pretty much new. I sold this one today, and then more of the same. So used 40s are a good value. The best value in the market is a new 40, and I think we sell the most new 40s of anything. You get the easy open handle. New 40s in my area, the Midwest region, 47, 48, 4,900, just depending on the day, how many vents it has, if it has any dents or dings. That's the other thing, is a bunch of new one-trip containers have dents and dings and scratches in the floor. When you come buy from us, you're gonna look at it and you know exactly what you're getting. And I think we beat everyone's prices anyway. So the easy open handle, I just opened that with 2 fingers. You're not doing that with a used container. You're gonna be fighting a door on a used container. So look at this, I mean, it's just brand new. The only thing about new 40s is they have this plate back here. It's like something with the cargo, the way they load the cargo, they all have this. The used 40s, some of them have them, some don't. So it's just a thing they have. They started using polyurethane coating on the floor to help with condensation. If you're concerned with condensation, add solar fans, get one with more vents, add vents, put desiccant packs in there, those little silica packs. All right, slate gray. So these new 40s, best value in the market. Slate gray, I usually pay $200 to $500 more for a slate gray container. And that one's got a bunch of vents, easy open. So this is like the Cadillac of containers right here, is a slate gray, new 40, easy open. And then probably the best value of any containers would be a double door, new 40. Because you get entry at both ends, so if you're storing mowers and whatever in there, you can get everything in and out very easily. And then generally these double door will have handles at both ends. So look at that easy open handle. You're never opening a used container with one hand like that. So you got doors at both ends. Double door containers generally $500 more than a single door. So that's the state of the container market. New containers are the best value I've ever seen them. Used 20s are just not that great. They still need to come down more. I don't know why they haven't. I think the shipping companies have just not been letting their used 20 inventory off lease to the degree that they did in the past. I don't really know what's going on. But China's producing more new containers than really ever. So if you're buying a container, I just recommend new. Used 40s are okay. Used 20s, the only thing that keeps those going is they're just the cheapest container, and that's about it. So if you guys have questions, let me know.